So it's 2020. I'm currently locked in my bedroom, lying down on my bed, quarantined, and I'm Snapchatting a super hot girl who started texting me a couple days ago. Now, let me tell you something real quick. During this time, this was a huge win for me. This was a huge W for me. And the reason why I felt so good and so on top of the world during this time was because this was probably one of the first girls that I ever started Snapchatting from coming from social anxiety and being someone who had no friends whatsoever. And when you have no friends whatsoever, you get no girls also. But during this time, I had Snapchat. I recently started talking to this super cute girl. And, we were Snapchat chatting back and forth, and everything goes to plan, right? Like during those first tech, during those first weeks of texting, everything goes smooth. So, I was texting this girl, and by the way we were Snapchatting, I'm like, heck yeah, like this girl has the same vibe, the same energy, the same vibe that I have when trying to conversate with someone. Because I was someone who was really shy and didn't know how to make friends, my personality, how I would overtext, I would send and make my affection known to whoever I was talking to, right? Because since I never had friends, it was just like every time I met someone, I was just like, oh yeah, man, like I care. Like, it's like I'm pushing myself, really pushing myself out there. And this girl basically did the same thing. And, it was that high energy texting that, we all know, right? But after about a week of this, it kind of gets like a lot. She's kind of sending too much affection, too much hype. So some of the things she was saying, she was like, "Oh, I really want to see let's watch a movie, let's do all that." And I did want to, pursue this girl, but it was a little too much. It was quarantining. I had online school, and I was just like, "Oh, it's a little too much." But I'll just wait longer. A week goes by. I kind of start replying less and less. 2 weeks go by. Eventually, I stop replying. But it was super weird because I was just like, wait, I I thought, this was an attitude that I really liked. Like I had put my affection out there, she had put hers, but it doesn't make sense whatsoever. And eventually it gets to the point where I just stop replying because it's just so much. This girl was just like, oh, I really care about you. I really care about our friendship. But it's just like, it's kind of too much. And it gets to the point where, this girl is sending me texts and paragraphs. She's like, oh, are you okay? You're not replying. Like, I didn't know if our friendship was nice. And I was just like, wow, this is kind of too much. And it was really surprising because, as a guy, I'm just like, I didn't know it was like this whatsoever. Like, I know of men sipping over women, but this girl, she was kind of sending me too much affection. She was kind of sending too much. And it was to the point where it's just an absolute turnoff, and I didn't want to talk to her again. But as I was kind of like, I kind of felt like, honestly, this might sound mean, but it was kind of just like, oh, like it's just like kind of like, bro, too much. And I kind of didn't want to talk to her. That's pretty mean, right? But then I was just like, wait, just a second. This way that this girl's acting, this is how I've acted throughout multiple friendships in my life. When this happened with this girl, right, I started thinking about when I was showing too much affection to women that I used to text. And then I was like, maybe that's what went wrong. I was sending too much affection. I was caring too much. Then I started thinking about previous friendships and how I would try to, really put myself out there with friends and be like, oh, like, bro, you're the homie, like, I really care about you. You're one of my best guys. I started thinking about that, and it got to the point where I started thinking about this. I had bought some stuff for some friends in the past before, right? I was just like, this reminds me of my attitude, how it's been like. No way is this like that, where the other people are feeling that sort of like disgust where it's like too much. So I slowly stopped talking to this girl, stopped talking to her, and I'm just like, no way is this attitude like what I've been acting. So I'm just like, maybe I should cut down a bit. Maybe I should stop caring less. And then I stopped texting people. I stopped showing interest in friendships, women that I start dating or texting. And then I realize that suddenly people are into me. Suddenly I'm just like, whoa, why, I'm not caring. Why are you into me? So, suddenly people are asking me, oh, where have you been, man? You haven't been reaching out anymore. We want to catch up with you. I'm just like, whoa, 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 whoa. This doesn't make any sense. The less that I care, the more that people are into me, the more people are, the more I seem magnetic. And the title of this video is on why, being a bad person makes you more magnetic. And yes, it is kind of clickbait because I'm not telling you to be a bad person. Do not be a bad person whatsoever to people. Treat people with respect. Treat people nicely. Do not be a bad person. But in this video, I'm going to tell you why kind of this like selfish, arrogant mindset, which can be, seen as a bad person, can lead you to this, being magnetic, where this mindset of being arrogant and selfish, it can actually, in a way, interesting enough, because you to become just really attractive people. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video, completely unedited. And yeah, so let's get into it. So, as I said before, I started pulling away. I started caring less because I was just like, no, this chick, she was acting too much. She was sending me too much affection. I'm going to stop doing that to people because no way that's how it is. And it started working. Let me tell you, bro, the first time that I started doing this was when I started texting this one woman that I was really interested into. And lots of the times, she was a super cool girl. We vibed a lot, we had a lot in common. But sometimes she would say responses that I didn't, she would basically give me dry response sometimes. So I'd be like, hey, you want to check out this new cafe place? And she would just be like, oh, let me talk to my dad, let me see, period. And it was just like, okay. And now old me, I would have been like, hey, it's me, you want to check up on that cafe again, I just want to make sure, that I really care about the friendship, that I just really wanted a friendship, right? That's what the old me would do. However, this time, I don't send anything. I just completely leave the message on read and I don't reply to it whatsoever. So she just said her dry response, right? She's gonna ask her dad if she can go. And then I was just like, okay, sounds good. That's it. Or I think I replied with that, or I just left it on red. But anyway, I didn't show genuine interest, and then I wait like 3 to 4 days, and she's like, "Oh, hey, sorry for your response. I really want to talk to you more. Let's go to this cafe, and then we can do a bunch of different things after. Let's do this." I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, like that's absolutely crazy." And eventually I started doing this with friends, and I eventually stopped being, I stopped putting myself out there too much. I stopped caring less. Obviously I'd still talk to them, right? I still, I'm not ignoring them in conversations, but I have this more like selfish, kind of more like towards me in a way where it's just like, oh hey man, what's up? But in my mind I'm just like, like I'm chilling, like I don't need them whatsoever. And this was something that I wasn't used to as someone who didn't have friends. But I noticed that this mindset, it causes people to be more interested in you. And I honestly feel like the reason why that is, it's this whole idea of we want what we can't have. Because we're obsessed with things that we can't have. That job, that car, that phone that we can't have. And when there's someone who is in our presence, but we can't necessarily crack them down, like this person, they're not complimenting as much, like they're hard. You have to work a little bit in order to, get what you want from them, that compliment or their validation, right? And when that person doesn't give you that, it's just like, oh wow, like it's just like, oh, this person doesn't care. And when you show that you don't care about a friendship or something like that, you have this arrogance, this selfishness towards you. People see that and it's just like, like what's he got going on? Why is he so selfish? Like obviously he's not a nice guy. He probably has lots of different things going on. If you want to follow this, which it works to an extent, I don't recommend being some douchebag. That's not the point of this video. But in my opinion, there is a huge power of being social, but also keeping this mindset where it's just like, oh, I don't need this friendship if it goes south. I'm willing to meet someone, but I have lots of things going on. I have, I'm selfish towards when I need to change. If I'm meeting new people, it doesn't matter whatsoever. So there is that mindset, and the best way to follow that and to do that without purposely doing it, because that's really messed up, is to have something more to care about rather than friendships. Something where you can chase a goal, you're not going to care about anything else. Because imagine if you have this big MMA fight, right? And you're going out in school, you're meeting people, you're not going to care if someone doesn't like you. You're not going to care if, someone didn't validate you, or if you're meeting someone really attractive for the first time. You're not going to care. You know why? Because you have something important to do. You have a big MMA fight. Your life is literally on the line, bro. So when you have something more to care about, you become really focused on one thing. Do you really want to do this? But also at the same time, it's giving you a leverage, because you're like, hey, I'm putting this all the way up here and I'm focused on that. I don't care if this friendship doesn't work out. I don't care if I meet a bunch of people and if it doesn't go well. I don't care about it because I have this. And because you have this, you're going to, in a way, develop this really bad, in a way, bad, selfish, arrogant personality where it's just like, okay, I'm going to stop caring about conversations. And once you do this, in my experience, it takes so much pressure off of meeting new people. And that's going to play into your advantage. And people are going to see you as magnetic. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, this guy, like, he has something going on. He has goals. He doesn't care about meeting new people because he has something that I want. He has this life. I need to be a part of it. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.